Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Always.
Bam. What up, Yang Gang? Welcome to the studio, Larry Cohen from LA.
Hey.
I've had the fortune of meeting Larry in person in LA, and I think it was Iowa. Definitely Iowa. And
3
LA,
lifetimes ago.
it seems like a long time ago, man.
Yeah.
But now here we are circling back around. We got this this new congressional movement to get Congress to get on board with the idea of universal basic income.
That's right.
Or guaranteed income. But yeah, so go ahead and talk about what we got going on today.
Yeah, so today I am helping represent and am helping organize the Nabig conference, the North American Basic Income Guarantee Conference. It's an annual conference that alternates between Canada and the United States. And the purpose has been to bring together all the different voices in the basic income guarantee movement. So the basic income movement, UBI, all the different names for basic income, to bring all of the people involved across the country, mostly in Canada and the US, but also internationally, and to really recognize what kind of progress is being made, the studies being done, and help connect the different threads, especially now. We've got academics, we've got activists, we've got artists, we've got members of Congress, we've got people on the ground just fighting for the idea of universal basic income, of basic income to become part of society, part of our way of life. And it's a big mishmash of all these different great people from all different angles of why UBI would be so important, so impactful, so needed for our society. So this gathering is actually a year in the making because it got delayed due to COVID last year. So we are packing so much into it because we've had a year where we saw from COVID just how important and necessary something like UBI would be for everybody, right? We have over 120 speakers from the US and Canada. We have 6 keynote events over the course of 3 days. And we even have 35 individual breakout sessions featuring panelists from just all walks of life, both academically, from people on the ground, grassroots activists, artists who have been creating and sort of demonstrating what UBI would look like. And we're going to have these sessions running simultaneously, 3 at a time, over the course of Friday and Saturday, and having special discussions on Thursday as well. So that's next weekend. Let me make sure I get the dates right. This week. Now it's upcoming. So it's from Thursday the 17th. Yes, Thursday the 17th to Saturday the 19th of June. So it is a lot, and it is really an amazing opportunity to learn about all the latest information about basic income, all the different pilots, all the different reasons why people would be interested in UBI, how it connects with them, how it would impact their life, and just learn from the cutting edge of people doing this research, people who are activating congressional members and leading pilots. So it's a real big gathering, and we want it to be sort of one of the focal points for people to come together to sort of catch up and become a part of it.
Well, I think that the point that you were making earlier about COVID kind of put the kibosh and everything, because I know that we were all working together doing the Andrew's going to actually go to Congress and petition, if you will, or what do you want to call that? Kind of make his case.
Right. Make universal basic income a plank and a platform to build a presidential runaround, right? And to be a part of his pitch to Congress if, he would become president. And since then, right, because the Congress last year in June would have just led after sort of the primaries. And then COVID shut down everything. And that included this conference. This conference has been going on every year since, I think, 1999. So it's been over 20 years. This is the 21st one. And because it alternates between Canada and the US, it was supposed to be in person, but obviously COVID canceled it. And we just weren't ready to do a virtual process. And we were all just scrambling to deal with COVID, just like everybody else. Yeah. So we've had a year to really think about how we wanted to do this, which is why the whole conference is virtual. And I think it is an interesting opportunity to really reset how we can connect people in this movement together, right? COVID has taught us that boundaries of distance can be sort of not totally addressed, but can be helped mitigated by technology, right? And so we have the technology to put on in a virtual conference in a way that we really couldn't have done even a few years ago, or at least not nearly as easy. So it's a really cool opportunity to showcase all these amazing people who may have had to either go to New York physically or go to Canada physically, and now everyone's everywhere, and everyone's able to connect and discuss and be a part of this from wherever they are, which is super cool.
Well, and this makes it more inclusive, because only people with ways and resources could actually go to these conferences and had to take time off work or whatever. Now they can just jump on virtually.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And the tickets are available on the website.
Yes, the website.
Yes. So Carnage here has a question. Is there a way to watch it online? It's 100% online.
100% online. So you better be able to watch it online. That's the goal. So the website is nabigcongress.com. And that's the landing page to sign up. And so that's where you'll see all the different speakers, the different events and sessions. You'll be able to register there at a price point that you can afford. We have tickets that are available for free. That would be the best option, and also for those who can afford it, slightly higher prices, so that we can continue to do this kind of content creation and gathering in the future. So yeah, I mean, historically, the NA Big Congress has been sort of put together and run and focused on academics, right? That was how it was originally created, was academics who had come together, who had learned about cash transfers and the idea of basic income, and kept the idea going in the late 1999s and the late 90s, the early 2000s, before UBI sort of had this recent renaissance. And now this conference is bringing together the voices from across the spectrum, right? We're getting artists and activists and people who are just learning about UBI, people who've been inspired by Andrew's campaign, people who've been inspired by just learning about basic income, to become a part of this, to be not just someone to watch what's going on, but to participate, to ask questions, to help drive the conversation forward. And so that's so exciting, because there was a limitation in having people have to go to New York for a 3-day conference. And now we really can expand it, the reach, to just about anywhere.
Well, that's the thing too, is you don't have to just bear witness. Sometimes that's enough for some people, just be a part of it and be an advocate, but actually get your feet on the ground, dig your toes in the dirt a little bit, So you guys know, here's again, the website's nabigcongress.com. You can check out how to register for tickets here. It's a simple click, guys. And it kind of tells you their guidelines for the ticket prices, $0 to $100. So, and I think it shows down here, where did I see it earlier? Yeah. Considering this says, if you're part of this group, you can contribute to $0. Someone like me, I'll pay $25. There's more, $50, and it goes on up. So it kind of gives you all your options, let you know kind of where it'd be reasonable.
We want to make sure this is as inclusive a process as possible, because again, this is as inclusive a process of bringing together the basic income community as possible, right? This is what I feel is the broadest, most sort of comprehensive view of basic income at this moment across all sectors, especially in Canada and the US. And so bringing everybody together for this event to sort of see where we're at, we'll see how far we've come, and see where we're going. We want as many people to participate as possible.
Absolutely. Well, and also it has a list of all the speakers here. It just goes down day after day, and it shows the schedule for everything, guys. So that's the first day's Thursday, just kind of opening remarks, looks like, just a brief one.
Yeah, I mean, we want people to find a session. We'd love for people to go to multiple sessions, but we also understand that it's a big commitment to go to all the sessions. Some of those people who can, by all means, go do it. But if there's a session that speaks out to you, make sure to sign up for it and go to it. But also know that we're having all of these recorded. Again, technology makes it so much easier. If you miss a session, we're going to have the ability for people to watch these sessions afterwards. So we'd like to have people at the sessions live, so that there's questions and there's opportunities for networking online as well. Something that we're trying out this year is working with a website called Kumo Space. And Kumo Space allows people to have virtual avatars to walk around in a virtual conference room, and sort of what you might do in between sessions outside in the hallways and in the little gathering rooms at a regular conference. This is sort of a virtual room where people can sort of meet each other, walk around the room, introduce each other, learn about what each other are doing. It's just sort of a cool way to sort of make the idea of what you might do in person translate into online, if you're not able to do it in person.
It's an avatar VR.
I mean, it allows you to turn on your camera, and so you can see yourself, and you're walking around, so you can see other people's cameras. It's really interesting because it's hard to explain, but how at a conference you would speak to a certain people, and certain amount of people could hear you based on the distance of your voice. So depending on where you are in the room, you can hear different conversations, and then as you go farther away from them, you don't hear them, because just like it's mimicking real life, the closer you are to whoever's speaking in a particular spot, it's easier, it's louder. and it's more distant from whatever you were coming from. And so it gives the impression of like, it's not just a cacophony of voices. It's really focused on sort of this little circle of hearing around your avatar. And so you can go into a little, you can chat with somebody, you can have an exchange, you can then move to another section, and you're only hearing of people in a certain range. And so that's particularly cool because it really mimics what real life is.
So is that going to be like during those social times at the end? I saw that it starts at 10 a.m. on Thursday or on Friday and Saturday. It starts at 10 a.m. and it goes all the way down to 6:30. Is this the final? There it is. Yep.
Yeah, social hour. Yeah. So we'll have the spaces, I believe, will also be open throughout if people want to just mingle and, if they want to take a short break from digesting all of the different sessions. But those are the sort of major times where people will be in the rooms. And we also will have a virtual gallery, one of those rooms in Kumo Space, because we want to feature so many of the artists who have reached out to us and have been creating around the idea of basic income, how it represents it to themselves, how UBI would represent in the world, what it means to them, how do they want to, how are they inspired to create something based on the idea or what it would mean. And so we're having a space in one of these rooms so people can actually click and see the different pieces of art, and then also talk to the creators who are the ones just talking about how and why they created it. So it's again trying to make it as interactive as and interesting as possible, since we can't do it in person. That's
gonna be awesome. And will there be replays later, like a location for them afterwards on like their own website or on their YouTube channel? Do they have a destination?
Okay. Yeah, we're making plans to make sure that all the sessions are recorded, and then people will be able to view them afterwards. So they'll live on, so that we can go back to them and discuss them and hopefully take clips of what has been said and help share them and get more people to learn about what has been done and said in the sessions. But again, the idea of having people in there is because a lot of the time and attention we're trying to give speakers is less on paper presentation, which has been sort of the hallmark of the conference in the past, right? We had a lot of academics coming together and sharing what their latest work has been. Right. So in this round, we're trying to introduce the idea of having more speaking time around what it is all meaning, and have time for Q&A for people to really have questions answered from the audience about what it means and what the information that they're trying to portray means to the basic income movement, and then go deeper into those sorts of questions. So really try to get the audience engaged in sort of what's going on.
And I also saw that on opening night, you're screening Inherent Good, followed by Q&A with the filmmakers, the comedian Trey Crowder, and the liberal redneck, which I'm super duper excited about that. I hope I can catch that live because I'll be in New York doing some work. But I'm a big fan of that stuff. And the idea of that, I'm really looking forward to this, man. I'm looking forward to it.
I mean, it's crazy that there are several different movies and media creations that have been done over the past couple of years, and now they're all sort of hitting their stride and being released to the world, and it's all happening in this moment, right? So it's a super exciting moment to hear from the filmmakers themselves who've been working tirelessly to put this thing together. So you've got Rennie and Steve, who've been the co-creators of making this movie happen, and Trey, who's just hilarious and helping guide the conversation of what basic income would be in the South and from his hometown, sort of having these interesting dialogues around basic income in parts of the country that you may not necessarily sort of think of when you think about basic income. And having those deep conversations and those back and forths, and it's a funny movie. It's a great movie. I've seen it several times, and Rennie and Steve and Trey do a great job of explaining what it took to create it and what it's meant to them to see that, and then to even hear about from people as we've gone from the making of the movie to now. So it's been awesome, and I'm super excited for them to represent again.
That's just going to be super awesome. So yeah, Thursday's a short and sweet day, but then just 10 a.m. to I think it's 7:30, 8:30 is the end of the day. And there's, like you said, it's 3 at a time.
3 at a time.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, something we couldn't do in the past. We may have 1 or 2 or even 3 sometimes in person. But now we can just, thanks to technology, we can put together this crazy amount of incredibly interesting sessions from people who are really in the weeds of making this happen. From different aspects and just really interesting topics. So I urge people to check out the different options and to go to as many as they can, but to really see if there's 1 or 2 that they really want to hone in on and then go participate.
Are there some that are specific to individual pilot programs, like LA's program specifically for artists? And there's one in Wales, and the United Kingdom has one going in London, I believe it is. So there's a lot of them going around the world and the country. Are there some that are specific to individual pilot programs, or just more about just the overall work in all of them?
So there's a couple. There's one that talks about doing a deep dive into a case study about a basic income pilot during COVID and how to have put that together. So there's actually looking into the weeds about how that has impacted people, how they adapted the basic income pilot to work within the ramifications of being in under COVID. But actually, I believe the kickoff is the Mayors for Guaranteed Income talking about the different pilots across multiple cities. I believe so. There's Libby Schaff from Oakland, California, as the mayor. That basic income pilot is actually having registrations, I believe, right now as we speak. I believe there's another mayor, Mayor Melvin Carter from Minnesota. The mayor of Tacoma, Washington. Now I'm looking at the webinar here. So Victoria Woodards, the mayor of Tacoma, Washington, and Sandia McConville, who is the director of communications for Mayors for Guaranteed Income. So MGI has been sort of at the forefront as the organization helping bring mayors together and to allow mayors to put together basic income pilots or guaranteed income pilots in their communities and to help people directly with cash transfers, and then to study sort of the results and have this be a topic really integrated across the country. I think they're up to, it's almost hard to keep track. I think it was 40 mayors, and it might be up to 50 mayors now that have introduced these pilots. And so those will be the 4 that will be speaking about it. But they will be talking in depth about how it's been to put it together, what it will mean to the people in their community, and sort of what are the results we've had from past pilots, like the one in Stockton from Mayor Michael Tubbs, and what we're seeing right now with the latest pilots.
Well, Hannah here says Ontario, Stockton, San Francisco, artist, basic income, and a micro pilot in New Jersey. Hey, man, that's what's up. Carnage is in the house. Already got a ticket, man. I'm buying my ticket today, too, when we get done here.
Thank you, Carnage. And thank you, Hannah, for bringing that up. So Hannah's actually been helping put together the conference. So shout out to Hannah for being just doing all the work to helping make this happen. So again, thank you, Hannah. She wanted to shout out the New Jersey pilot, which is, again, there's a session about micro UBI demonstrations, right? There's a woman who I believe her name is Anna Young, who is the one who put together a UBI micro pilot. And so there will be a session around describing how you can build one in your community. Even though it may be a small pilot compared to some of the ones you're reading about in the news, you can learn how to do that in your own community. If you're so driven by the idea of UBI that you think you could put together a pilot, it's actually surprisingly simple to do. I think Anna will be speaking about how to do that and sort of the steps to make it happen, which is something that I don't think we've ever been able to offer at the conference before. It's super cool, again, since it's such a new idea that Anna has helped put into the world. So super excited about that session.
Okay, so I'm trying to find that. That's got to be on Thursday, because I want to hear about that one specifically.
Yeah.
Because I think if we can all figure out how to do micro ones in our own communities, that'll inspire maybe the mayor and the people in your elected offices might be more inspired and be more. Oh, there it is. Okay, sorry guys, I'm looking. You guys can't see what I'm doing. Okay, so this is Thursday at 4 to 4:45 p.m. Eastern. Micro pilots, grassroots-led direct cash demonstrations. Speakers: Anna Young and Sylvester Ani Jr. So I'm definitely going to try and check that one out. That actually sounds like the most intriguing, because that's something that I can actually. Oops, sorry guys. Something that I can actually do. Like, I would love to somehow do a GoFundMe in Southwest Michigan and go to the DHS or whatever it is and find one person. We're gonna do this pilot program, $1,000 a month for a year, and just raise $12,000. I mean, it sounds like a lot of money, but it can be done, guys. It really, there's people that want to make a difference, man.
Yeah,
people want to make a difference.
It doesn't take as much as you might think, and the work that can be done on the ground. I think this opportunity with this conference is really showcasing some of these voices. Again, it's not just about the academic papers that have been in the past, although they are an incredibly important part and sort of the foundation of making sure this movement continues to move forward, but featuring some of these aspects of the UBI movement that have not been able to be heard from, or even just are so new that they've popped up within the last 2 years. It's just really the cutting edge as to what is going on in the movement, because the movement is so big now. It is easy to not realize what else is going on in another section of it, and so that's why we're trying to bring this all together under one roof so that people can really see it from so many different angles. I think Giselle, who I again want to make a special shout out to, Giselle is the founder of of the Fund for Humanity, who is helping sponsor the event, one of our wonderful sponsors, to make this happen. And I think she has a lot of experience having gone to conferences in the past and sort of it's the same old, process of what it is. And here's a bottle of water and some snacks and like a little chit chat and then some presentations and you go home. Like the goal here is to bring together all these different aspects of UBI, but really have the conversations and the dialogue around what it means and what kind of action people can take and what kind of impact is that going to have, and to make connections that would actually be potentially even harder to do in person. Here you'll be able to see, all the different people, and again, the focus of the presentations themselves are not as much on the nuts and bolts of a paper or the data, but really discussing what that means and what that represents and how does that change things and how do we act on those ideas and these changes. So that's what we're aiming for with this conference, and to make it a little bit different than in the past, and I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, I would like to even offer up the Trickle Up as a website if you guys want to host and put some of your all your links to all your stuff afterwards too, like so people can find individual segments, and I can put a whole page up just for that alone to be like a place to. They're going to be all individual Zoom links for the live recordings, right?
There will be individual crowd. So when you sign up, you'll be able to see individual Crowdcast links, and those will allow you to get the link to the specific session.
Gotcha.
And so we'll be able to, and then once it's all wrapped up, we'll be able to have a location where people can watch the different sessions. And again, just another reason why this is such a big move. It was really difficult in the past to record all the different in-person sessions. There's, it was previous conferences. It was actually, we had some help from the conference location itself where they had set up some filming, but in rooms that didn't have set film spaces, I set up my phone and just pressed record, and whatever we got was what we got. You can see some of those videos, and it captures what was talked about, but it's just not quite as interactive or as engaging as you might had hoped to be, which is why being in person was so important. This allows us to just take all the video created and putting them online to really showcase what was said and what it meant.
Well, the different thing about these types of conferences that I've found, I've been in some of these online conferences as of late this past year, is during a conference, you're just there to only listen. They speak. It's a one-way conversation. In a live one, you have a comment section. We can all talk about, hey, that's a good point. Or if you miss something, you can't be like whispering. That's kind of rude, right? You can actually do it here in the comment section and kind of keep the conversation going, and still listening, but still have a conversation in the comment section. I'm not sure if they can see the comments during the recordings or not, but it's a fun interaction. Or if they had like a screen that would bring up, like here, I can bring up like here.
Yeah, like you can highlight certain comments and bring them up to the forefront. Yeah, I believe
that's cool.
Yeah, and I think the comments will be visible to the speakers. Obviously, they'll be focusing on making sure that they're presenting what they're looking to talk about, but then it's an engagement activity. And again, Giselle mentioned that the key word here is act, right? It's not just about listening. It's not just passive. We're really trying to transform the conference so it's not 95% speaking to the audience and then 5% questions where maybe one or two people. This is really a conversation between the speakers who have expertise and are sharing their story and their knowledge, but then also engaging with the people who are attending and having a conversation and batting around ideas and acting on those ideas going forward. Because we need this as a movement to be about action, not just about hearing and listening and digesting, but really about action.
Well, and we got Air Laura here. He's one of my conservative friends. He said he wants to sign up, man. Just follow the actually. Let me put that's what I didn't do. I didn't put the link in here. Let me put the link in the comment section, guys. You can actually follow the link. It's in the description box as well, the video below. But I just want to throw it up there. That's also the thing there. You can sign up for the schedule. Actually, that's only the schedule, not the homepage though.
Yeah, just nabigcongress.com.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I think this will be. I'm really, really. I wish I wasn't going to be busy in New York. So I'd like to sit down and watch more over the weekend. But I'm definitely going to jump in on some of them, and I can't. I'm definitely going to watch a lot of reruns too.
The kind of reruns you'd actually watch, right? So
yeah, no kidding. But I definitely want to make clips of this stuff for the Trickle Up, and like for my TikTok, I'll actually make clips of the TikTok referencing to the website. We can kind of do some promotion from all the different platforms.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is really going to be cool, man. And it's a new type of conference. I think you guys can kind of lead by example here and say this is how a conference should be in the future.
Yeah, it's the goal is to make a really compelling case that this might be the way conferences like ours would be going forward, right? There is always some advantage to being in person, to connecting, but maybe the purpose of being in person is not about the sessions themselves, but about the mingling and the connecting and sort of the gathering of ideas and speaking and sort of the cacophony of voices hanging out together and seeing what kind of collisions and interesting mixes that happen from that. But for the sessions where it's kind of like we have set times and people speaking and things like that, in terms of convenience for people to actually attend or participate, in terms of the sort of the schedule and being able to fit it within your own schedule, I mean, the virtual space makes it a lot more convenient. So it's going to be interesting to see after this. We're going to look at the whole process and be like, how has this been more effective than what we've done in the past? Maybe where are areas where gathering in person makes more sense. And maybe that changes the kinds of things we do, right? We'll focus more in person for the collisions and interesting ideas and the collaborations. And then the sessions will they'll stay online regardless, even if people are in person for a particular gathering.
Yeah, I think this will inspire a lot more like hybrid type of things like you're saying, where you can do them both.
Right. I mean, there's nothing stopping doing both. I mean, I want to get in person and meet a lot of the people that will be part of this as much as everybody else, but it just is so hard, right? And so there will be a place and a time for that. But in the meantime, people, we're having people participate that haven't been able to in the past just because coming to New York for 3 days or going to Ontario or Vancouver or wherever in Canada for 3 days, it's just not so easy and not accessible to everybody. So this really is opening up the umbrella.
Significantly, because I wanted to go to like a podcasting movement thing for 3 days in Florida, but you got to take a whole 3 days off of work. You got to travel. The expense of it is just really a big ask.
Absolutely.
But this way I'll pay $25-$50 and I'm gonna go check out all I want. I can consume every one of them I want to. Right.
It's a real buffet.
Yeah. But someone's asking here, who will be moderators picking up questions from the viewers to ask panelists? I will actually be one of the moderators in a room on the 19th. I can't remember which one exactly it was, but I'm definitely going to be part of this. I'm an active participant. I'll be moderating just like I do here, pretty much.
Right.
Pretty.
Got to use that talent to good use.
That's right. I've done it before, and I can do it again. And I'm a huge fan of UBI, of course, and I don't want to be mayor of a small town, but I do want to get active in state legislation, which I want to take this to the higher levels of the Michigan state legislature, hopefully in 2022, man, to inspire more people to do these things, to get out there and do something, which is the act part of it, right?
Absolutely.
Get people to collect signatures or whatever you want to do, right?
Bring it up to their local officials, just talk to their neighbors about this, engage their community, talk to other organizations that just aren't in the know yet about what's going on and how it impact their community that they represent, right? Like that's such the important thing about UBI is that it touches on so many aspects of people's lives. There's so many organizations dedicated to doing great work that may not know about how UBI would help augment and improve the situation that they're working toward. So by getting those communities and those organizations on board and to learn about it and to engage with it, again, that's how we're going to make that change happen.
Well, I think might be a good idea to do a follow-up afterwards.
Oh yeah, I'd be happy to. Yeah.
When I get back from New York, maybe we can double back that weekend. We'll say, hey man, what was your favorite parts, or what would you like to consider doing next time? Kind of follow up and do more Q&A about it in here with people that didn't get all their questions answered or whatever it might be. That'd be a good opportunity to follow through with people. Yeah, this is exciting news, man. I was really looking forward to it last year. I was gonna take time off work, drive to Washington D.C. the whole 9 yards, man, but that didn't work out.
Right.
Like, oh well, we'll catch up. So here we are.
Here we are.
A year later.
Better late than never. But again, it just think about how much has happened in this past year from COVID, so helping introduce the concept of basic income and guaranteed cash payments and stimulus checks and stimmies and whatever you want to call it, like making sure people had cash in their pockets to keep the economy going, to keep their families, surviving and deal with this hopefully once in a lifetime crisis. But realizing that this is the disaster that we all felt as a country is the kind of disaster that people feel individually all the time. And the idea that basic income can help alleviate that and actually give people that foundation, that floor to build upon, so that they can not only just bounce back, but to like be stronger afterward. Like that conversation is being had everywhere across the country. And we need to, as sort of a community, come together, see where we're at, see how much has happened, because there's so much happening. Again, 120 different speakers, and that's not everybody. Like, we wish we could have fit more in there, right? And to realizing how far we've come in just the past year, and where we're going, and what we can do to make that happen. I mean, it's super exciting.
Well, I think the upside of COVID, which is few and far between. I think one of the upsides of COVID is that it's given some people a peek into the suffering that most people experience that are poor, at the poorest, and maybe have a little more sympathy for others to say, yeah, what happens when you lose your job? What happens when automation automates away all the frontline workers? What happens when Walmart doesn't have cashiers? What happens when McDonald's doesn't have it's nothing but kiosks? Like, what happens then?
Right. What happens if you're sick? What happens if you're afraid to get sick, but you can't take the time off? Or what if you're put in a position where you can't say no to the fact that you're being forced in to participate in a job that is literally dangerous for your life and your family's life, and even strangers' lives, because you don't know who else you're coming into contact with, right? Like this incredibly unfortunate situation has led to conversations that were just at the margins, or even sort of ignored or brushed under the rug, and it put it front and center. And we're seeing some actual tangible changes, right? Like the child tax credits, the CTC, the big initiative to like attack child poverty, because it became sort of a forefront issue that children were suffering in incredible poverty. And it's very simple to fix it. Just make sure people have cash, families have cash, make sure that people have the resources to not be in that situation, just as a starting point. Like, let's just set that floor. Let's build the floor. And that is a huge opportunity to not only study, but as a huge achievement, a huge victory that is going into place in July. People will be able to sign up through the government website and sign up for CTC and get a monthly transfer of cash for their kids, right? Like, that's an incredible achievement that the basic income community can feel directly connected to and helping push forward. The organizations like Income Movement, Fund for Humanity, and Humanity Forward, those who are helping sponsor this conference are those at the forefront of making that happen at the national level. So it's not that it's just things that are happening and we're learning about and why it's important, but we're seeing tangible action take place, and we're seeing people receive cash, and we're seeing change being made. We just need to keep that going.
Hell yeah, man. And like I said, I hope that this increases sympathy and empathy for others that are less fortunate, because some people had to dive. They got the floor swept out from underneath them. And they figured out. Now I hope people will, like I said, have more understanding that, hey, man, this can happen to anybody anytime. We need to take care of people. Like you said, the tax credits coming through. I'm a parent. When my kids, I had 4, dude.
Oh, congrats on your eldest, right?
Yes, I got another one graduating. Yes.
Wow.
But like, when I had my 4 kids, they were young. We had 4 kids in daycare.
Wow.
That was painful.
Wow.
Yes, painful. And with this child tax credit, it would have been between $1,000 and $1,200. Could have helped us. That'd have been a wash.
Right.
It'd have been a wash.
That would have been huge. Right.
I mean, this is exciting that through all these things, everybody's been doing the basic income movement, Humanity Forward, the Ford Fund. All these people have been doing this stuff, man. And the mayors for guaranteed income. This has all come to fruition because 10 years of damage happened in 10 weeks, to quote Andrew Yang, with this pandemic. So it has shined a very, very bright, focused light on a huge, huge function of this to stabilize our economy and our people, to know that no matter what happens, we're still here for you. Like, we're going to take care of you. We're going to make sure no one's left behind,
right?
And hopefully end homelessness and poverty across the board. Because the $300 checks, they said, which is kind of gross if you think about it, but they said $300 checks is going to take 50% of children out of poverty.
Oh, right.
So this is saying to me, that our government's okay with 50% still being in poverty, which I'm not okay with.
Right. It's a step forward. It's not
Right.
the end. It's
Right.
definitely the beginning of the beginning, but it's a
Yeah.
tangible step forward. And it's going to make a hell of a difference for the people,
Yes.
the 50% that it's going to pull out, but it leaves 50%. That means our work is not done. Our work is continuing. This is merely the
Boom.
next step. Oh, thank
Another
you, Vaughn. Make another one. Appreciate it.
Like I said, I'm buying my ticket as soon as we get done, man. I'm super excited. But yeah, man, is there anything else you wanted to mention about this conference? I mean, this is a huge thing, man. This is a lot of work for you guys. I can only imagine how much work this takes.
It's been an incredible amount of effort to put this together, especially virtually. But a huge shout out to the team, both from NA Big and Income Movement, who've been sort of key people on both organizations putting this together. A special shout out to Hannah, who's been working tirelessly to help put this together. And we'll do a shout out for all the people who've helped volunteer during the conference. But yeah, it's taken a village, right? This is all volunteer. This is all of us just sort of making it happen behind the scenes so that we could bring this together, because those of us who are a part of this movement realize just how important this conference needs to be in the movement, right? Like we need to shine a spotlight. I mean, there's just so much going on, right? Like everywhere you look, there's something happening, and we wanted to try and make sure that we covered as much of it as possible from as many angles as possible, and bring people together as much as possible. So it's a labor of love. It's definitely something that we're looking to do. It's kind of the mission of NA Big, both US Big in the United States and the Canadian counterparts as well. Like, this is why we want to make sure that this conference is here to stay and is sort of a cornerstone of the UBI movement, because we need time to digest what's happened, and we need a gathering to get action and to take action moving forward, because there's just so much going on.
Okay, guys. So a big thing, my call to action, guys, use the hashtag
sign up and use the hashtag.
Sign up and use the hashtag. But on the 17th, we need to make sure we try to coordinate, like, let's make this thing trend on Thursday before opening day. Let's see here. No, that's my email. Wrong one. About me being a presenter. So 4 p.m., guys, we need to make this happen. 4 p.m. We need to find a way to trend the living hell out of this thing and make sure as many eyes are on it. We got to use our power on Twitter and Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. We got to make sure we get as many eyes as possible in here, get people to register beforehand, and really make sure we get the proper funding for all the stuff that's happened here, because I can only imagine the tech team alone. It's hard enough to coordinate 120 people.
Yeah.
I have a hard time with like 4, right?
I mean, it is hard with 4, but it's even harder for 120. So
120.
It's again, but everyone who's participating is excited. Everyone who's participating has a voice and a story to tell and information to share, and just is excited to become a part of this. And so it's for everybody involved. Everyone's excited that we're finally bringing everyone together to have this moment together. And we're hoping that as many people out there can join us. And then if not, then to definitely check it out afterward, because we definitely don't want this to just be a conference that happens, and if you saw it, great, and that's it. Like, we want these clips. We want these, the words that are spoken, the ideas that are shared to be seen by more afterward, and to people take action with what they've learned afterward. So we'll be working on that for sure. And there'll be a lot coming up, especially in the summertime.
Well, I'm going to let you guys know right now, I'm going to make it my mission to download every single one of those videos and make one clip from every single presentation.
You heard it here.
This is going to be a lot of work. I'm going to be asking for help too. God, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a community effort.
But we got to make sure people are recognized for their value and their worth and their experience and their words of knowledge, man. This is a big time deal. I've been inspired to get joined 2 years ago to get involved, so
that's right.
This is huge. We got one question right now for you. It says, beyond the NA Big, what are you and your orgs personally working on related to UBI? I really appreciate all your work in the past. What else you got going on?
Yeah. So
besides all this, what else you got going on?
On top of this. So this has been obviously the sort of focus for myself, and it's obviously what I want to make sure everyone that can attend does attend and be a part of this. The other work I've been doing is through my website, Build the Floor, which is to help continue to create more interesting media and help bring the ideas of UBI to life. So I'm working on creating more videos around explanations as to what's going on, the latest news, to help summarize what popular myths need to be busted to help explain certain concepts that maybe you've seen in interviews shared before, but try to make it more of an interesting, engaging, entertaining, perhaps even experience. I took my most recent video was taking Scott Santon's article about 2020 and why we need UBI now more than ever, and then sort of mashing together as many interesting clips as I could find to help bring his words to life with video clips and from movies and pop culture references to the news and what's been going on, and just bring together all these different concepts and ideas to make it more engaging and more shareable, so that people can share it with friends and family. It's not just an interview of somebody talking. As much as important as that is for you and I. So the website is buildthefloor.org, and I'll be looking to make more of that content once the conference is over and once we figured out what we're moving forward with action wise. But yeah, I'm looking forward. Oh, sorry, buildthefloor.org.
The floor.
Build the Floor also would be, I probably got to take that website and go purchase it. But buildthefloor.org. There you go.
There it is, man. I'm going to check that out too. Cause you know me, I'm all about video.
Yes. You and the TikTok, man, you're getting there. You're moving on up there.
Dude, I had one video get 250,000 views. Just a cute little saying that Joe Biden did is kind of funny. You know, like there's all these out. It's just, I do that just for fun. But to me, what matters is this real valuable content like this is significant.
And that's where we need to put them together, right? We need to take, just like you said, and I think that'll be one of my goals as well, taking and digesting all this amazing content and pulling out really key pieces, and then getting that into a short, concise, direct video that's entertaining, has some music behind it, that gets people engaged, so they don't have to watch an hour conference. They can, because not everyone's like us or even our community. We need to find ways to tell the story of UBI in a really short, quick way to get people to get it and to be able to share it and find it interesting enough to share with others. So that is the goal for that kind of content that I'm looking to create, and I'll be with you. So I'll be part of that community, sort of diving into each of the videos afterward.
Yeah, dude, guys, TikTok, man, there's a whole genre in there. It's a whole thing about these 1 minute videos that really do hit home, because I'm going to use 1 minute clips on TikTok with links to the actual stuff. So it's going to create some traffic, Oh yeah, and Hannah says, Build the Floor is the prequel to Andy Stern's Raising the Floor. He will be speaking at the NA Big, man. That is...
Yes.
Andy Stern's a big get, man. That's
one and the only. So Andy Stern, obviously the creator, the writer of Raising the Floor, sort of helped create the blueprint that Andrew credits as helping give him the guidance for what to focus on during his campaign for president, and has inspired so many of us after his experience as the SEIU head, and in understanding what automation and technology was doing to jobs in real time, not in the future, but today. And he'll be speaking on sort of the future of work. That panel specifically is going to be incredible. We're going to have sort of an all-star cast there, just some more people that people may have heard of before. It's going to be really interesting. I'm trying to make sure I find
Is that opening day or the last day?
I think that's going to be Saturday afternoon. Let me double check, because the future of tech work. So we've got...
I got it.
Oh, you got it? Perfect.
I found it. I'm going to bring it up for you guys.
Perfect.
Yeah, so guys, right here, 10 to 10:45, the first rooms. UBI and tech. What's the future of tech work? Albert Wenger.
Yeah, Albert Wenger is a longtime supporter of UBI. He's a venture capitalist, a managing partner at Union Square Ventures, very successful, but also someone who is very prescient in seeing the impact of basic income and the impact of technology and why we would need a basic income. He has an online book, actually, The World After Capital, which is a really interesting read. And he's been sort of a known figure who's come out in favor of UBI, helping fund different pilots and be a part of the UBI community. So he'll be part of that, because he's really at the front lines with the companies that he helps support and invest in, seeing what kind of changes are going on in the front lines.
Well, and that's the thing, man, is now that I think it's in Europe, they said they have a pilot program running for McDonald's or something like that. That's flipping burgers literally with AI, with timers and robotics, flipping burgers and changing fries,
Interesting. Yeah.
So COVID has inspired capitalists to automate away jobs. It has promoted it. It has demanded us. And me, honestly, I think we should. I think humans are better than remedial stuff. We should be inspiring people to do things like create stuff of value to you that makes you feel whole. to make
Absolutely.
you feel like you've contributed to society, not just cooking meals for someone or whatever. And I'm not devaluing that. I'm just saying that I want more for people.
Well, I think it's also recognizing that certain skill sets that may have been able to produce a living in the past just aren't that way anymore.
They're
And
phased out.
but we need to make sure that society is set up so that
Mhm.
everyone has an opportunity to find the skills that they're best suited they're best suited for, that they're best to learn at and to grow
Mhm.
into and to work on, and that they find
Mhm.
meaning and fulfillment in. Like
Right.
that should be everyone's birthright. That's what we should build a
Right.
society around, that concept, because we're
Mhm.
going to get the best out of people if we do that. And replacing that work only is good if we make sure that people have some piece of those gains, that prosperity, make sure it gets to them, and that
Yeah.
they can go invest in themselves to find something of meaning for themselves. I mean, I know there are a lot of people who do home cooked meals for their families, and that's incredibly important. You don't have
Mm.
to be just flipping burgers. You
Right.
have to, but finding meaning, whatever you're doing, if it's cooking for people, you're finding meaning in that, then great. But if we have ways to automate that so you can find other things that you find meaning in, go do
Yeah.
that. Like that's
Bingo.
how we need to set up society, and that's what basic income helps set us up for.
Absolutely. It's all about freedom of choice in the end.
Yeah.
Freedom
And
of
again, it's to do so many different things. No one is one of these things. We want to be
Mhm.
doing all of these things. That's the human experience. We want it to be interesting and constantly engaging and doing new things. And we want to enable as many people as possible to do that. I think we have the technology, we have the understanding. We just need to set ourselves up as a society to do it. And we're getting there. We're actually getting there. We just have to keep going.
Is Scott Santon's going to be a speaker? Or is he
Actually, I have
busy
to
in New
double
York?
check. I think he'll be in New York. I know there will probably be speakers who will be alternating between being in New York and then being on camera and then being in New York. But I think I'm pretty sure he'll be attending. I'll have to double check if there's anything he'll speak at. I'm sure he'll pop in if he can.
Yeah.
But I know obviously what's going on in New York. The mayor's race and everything going on. It's a pretty busy time, but it's super exciting because that's taking place right near each other. So we're going to see direct action come out of potentially the mayor's race.
Well, and hopefully one of the biggest basic income pilots in the United States will become policy. That is going to be huge.
Yeah. The more people that see and feel the impact of cash transfers and basic income or guaranteed income, the more people that feel it, not just read about it, not just hear about it, not just sort of pass by on just talking heads on TV, but see it in their community, hear about it from friends, family, and others, the more we're going to build support for it. Because once you get connected to that, once you hear the stories, once you find out what people's lives have been changed, that changes opinions, that changes people's minds. That's the key. And so by making sure that more people are connected to this, more people learn about it, more people find out about it, and then have the reason to have an idea about what basic income can mean to them, we're going to make it happen.
Well, I'm looking forward to the documentary they're going to do about the 6 people or the 10 people that got the $1K a month thing during the presidential campaign. I'm really looking forward to that documentary, like the interviews before, during, and after. And there's so many great stories, like Kyle and that started playing music again in Iowa as a caregiver for his mother who was ill. And all these people I've met. Kyle Christensen, I think his name is, man.
Yep.
I got to meet him in Iowa. Super cool guy, man. There's so many great stories out there, and I can't wait to hear them all. This is gonna be awesome.
And also a shout out to Bootstraps, which is the series that has been filmed about people who've received a basic income over the past 2 years. It was a incredible effort by Conrad Shaw and Dea Schlossberg. The two of them, husband and wife, they've put together this incredible pilot, this sort of private pilot where people were receiving a basic income over the past couple of years, like a full basic income, $1,000 a month per family member, or at least $1,000 a month to an individual, and then filming and seeing how it changed their lives over the past couple of years. And so they'll be speaking, I believe, on Friday about sort of the coming together of the work of the filming that they've done, and what the stories that they'll be sharing. They're looking to get seen by others once the series is completed. So there's multiple different shows and movies and all this media that's being created about people's stories that most people don't even know about, but it's coming. All this amazing content and understanding people's stories are coming to a screen near you, and it's going to be really exciting to see where they're at.
So it looks like I just looked that up, man. Like I think I know a lot, but I don't know shit. Here it is. Bootstraps. It's already on IMDb. So
They were able to crowdfund and then privately fund a basic income for Americans across the country in different states, and then they went and filmed how the basic income was impacting their lives, and then tell those stories in a narrative. So that series is coming out at some point. This is just sort of, they'll be talking about the latest cut that they've been able to put together and introduce some stories to people who attend. So like, again, you're seeing sort of the right before the behind the scenes look at what it's taken to get to this point and what's coming out. It's on Thursday. So yeah, so there's a filmmakers panel on Thursday as well. I mean, it's just, there's so much. And again, that's what we're trying to bring everyone together, because it's very easy to not have known that. But once you learn about it, you're like, I got to be on the lookout for that, because once that comes out, I mean, that is going to be a very key piece of content to be able to share widely.
Yes. 6:30 to 8:30 p.m.
Oh no, that's the other film, right? So that's Inherent Good. So that's the other film
that's the other
being
one.
featured, right? So we have multiple pieces of multi-year content that's being created, films and shows, and like, that's how much is going on, and that's how much people have been putting into this movement. And we want to make sure we tell their stories and uplift their voices, because we need to make sure everyone's aware of the great work that's being done.
All I gotta say, guys, just go check out the website for yourself, man. There's so much information. I'm not gonna scroll through it all. I'm not gonna
we could spend the next 4 hours just talking about each
I'm not gonna waste
session.
your time, guys, but definitely go check out the website again. Where'd it go?
nabigcongress.com. That's okay.
Yeah.
I'll say it enough times.
I like to have a banner ready to go for that.
Oh yeah, no worries.
I usually have it.
There you go. Boom.
nabigcongress.com, guys. Go check it out. Go register. Get your tickets. There's no financial barrier. If you can't afford it, you qualify. Just be there. It hurts no one. No skin off anybody's teeth, man. They've done all the work for a year to get 120 speakers to agree to dates and times and topics, and then having moderators like myself and looks like 40 others, and to have panelists, and then to have tech, and then a website. Guys, you don't understand. Like, I got an idea of how much work that is. I can't imagine how overwhelming that must be to start out with. And just a huge thank you to you guys and everybody that's supported it and got it to go, because this is going to be magnificent. I think I owe you guys that work that I'm going to do to make clips for every single one I can, man. We owe them, guys. We in the movement owe them everything that we can, because they've given us everything up front, man. This is going to be magnificent. I'm looking forward to it. So guys, go check out the links, man. All the links are in the description box. And again, whoops. Okay. There's a basic income movement march in September.
Yes. Yeah. So like I said, just one, moving on forward. Once we have the Congress completed, we're moving right on toward the basic income march. I know some people, I'm sure a lot of people participated in the past couple of years. And so that'll be in September. Hopefully it'll be a little more in person. I know I participated in Los Angeles. Everyone was spaced out with masks and then driving in cars and sort of going in circles and honking, which was a lot of fun. But hopefully you'll be able to do it in person. That's an example of really being in person makes a difference.
Yep.
So we love to see people sign up, set up local basic income marches in their community, or help join some of the big ones from coast to coast.
So Nicholas, not yet, but I'm going to try like hell.
One of the marches, is that connected to the march?
It's pretty far out, but I'm sure we can all, it doesn't take much to get it going. Like, I went to the one in Chicago because I live in the Southwest Michigan. I went to one in Chicago. It was freezing, raining, but I still drove there and I suffered through because I think it was worth it. But yeah, I'm definitely going to keep you guys posted on the basic income march.
Just go to basicincome.march.com for that info and to figure that out. Thank you, Hannah. It's September 25th. That's
and the website, you can type in your zip code and it'll show you the nearest ones to you too. If you don't see one close enough, it shows you how to start your own.
Yep, it means it's up to you. That's
right. So it's up to us to support all these movements, guys. They're doing all the work. We will all benefit as a society if we get this thing going, man. But anything else you want to throw out there, Larry? I mean, we've covered a lot.
We've covered a ton. Again, nabigcongress.com. Sign up, participate, help push the UBI movement forward, help make the conversation happen, discuss, take the clips after we're done and see where you can amplify and bring more awareness to these clips and to these ideas, and then help take action with the Basic Income March. And there'll be plenty of other things. And you can also learn about the latest events going on with incomemovement.org. They're definitely at the forefront, an incredible sponsor, and are really doing a lot of the grassroots work to make this happen. So those are the tasks to check out, and we're excited to see all of you at the conference and participating and just being a part of the movement.
And guys, if you want to get involved, man, there's weekly meetings every Wednesday night, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 Eastern.
Yep, awesome.
Every Wednesday, guys. If you want to do something, be a part of something, do it, man.
Yep. A lot of opportunities, but we need you. That's how it happens. We need everybody who can, wherever they can fit in their schedule. If they believe in this idea and this movement, find an amount of work and connection and responsibility to really take on and be a part of it. We're looking forward to it.
Yep. Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you, Larry, man. I look forward to seeing you again. Are you going to be in New York?
I'm not. I'm going to be helping run the Congress from here in LA.
You're doing it from LA. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I'll be here, but hopefully at some point we can do this again in person, and maybe it's New York, but we'll find a time.
I just thought you said New York and California or Canada, because that's where the conferences were at before.
Right. So again, if this were past years, I probably would be in New York right about now. But COVID, man.
COVID. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Be looking out for clips. Go definitely check out all the places, man. This is gonna be a lot of fun. I cannot wait, man. Thanks, Larry. Take it easy, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
All right.